Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 16 of Rapid Fate Online, and this one is titled The Man Behind Butterfly. You mumbled as you nodded your head with a blush dusting your cheeks. He's so close to me, I can't even look at him. He continued to look through your items, mumbling things to himself. You glanced at him hesitantly from the corner of your eye, and he turned his head slightly as his eyes met yours. He paused, and then quickly pulled back. Oh, sorry, On, he mumbled hurriedly as he walked back around to his side of the table, his face going slightly red. Would you like some dessert? The waitress asked as she arrived at the table, interrupting the awkward moment. Thankfully, it wasn't that friendly player who lent you mahi the first night in RFO. If it were her, you were pretty sure that she would have made some kind of suggestive comment. On? Butterfly asked. Oh, no, I'm fine. Thank you though, Butterfly. He asked for the bill, and then dismissed the waitress before turning back to you. What time will you be on again tomorrow? He asked. 4 p.m, the usual, you said with a smile. Oh, I might already be gone by then, Butterfly replied sadly. I don't know how long I'll be away for, but if I can, I'll come back to see you. I'll be waiting, you replied with a grin. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, he replied, giving you a soft look. The waitress returned with the bill, and he paid before you both left and headed upstairs. On, you use this room, and I'll go back down and pay for another room, he said shyly. Oh? Why? You asked curiously. Well, I like you, and I just don't want you to think that I'd do anything to you, he said with a cheek scratch and averted eyes. It's only characters in a game, he said with a laugh. It's not my real body. Plus, you're too polite to do anything like that to my avatar. No, I insist on being the gentleman, he said, stepping towards you and taking your hand gently in his. His hand was warm, and his hold was tender. You blushed. Until I see you again, he said softly as he stepped forward, closing the gap between you two. You braced. Is he about to kiss me? He leaned in towards your cheek and kissed you lightly. You felt his soft lips touch you, and the blush deepened. Oh, you whispered as he pulled back and looked at you. Suddenly he realized that he had just kissed you on the cheek and panicked. Bye, he yelled before rapidly swiping his menu open and logging out in the middle of the hallway. Butterfly, wait, you yelled, but it was too late. His empty avatar collapsed, and you just managed to catch him in your arms. Oh, I knew that would happen, you grunted as you turned and unlocked the inn door with difficulty, dragging Butterfly into your room and pulling him across to the bed. You lay him down as gently as possible and sighed before touching your cheek. He just kissed me on my cheek. Wait, why am I so excited about this? It's just a character that kissed my character. It's not real. But the emotions behind it are. You sat down next to Butterfly and then lay down next to him before smiling and logging out. I kissed her! Tamaki Amajiki screamed internally as he woke up in his room. He sat up quickly with the Nerve Gear headset still on. I can't believe I was bold enough to do that, but I really do like her. He took the gear off his head and ruffled his hair, looking across to his mirror to check and see how he looked. I know we're just playing as characters in a game, but I really like the person behind the avatar. He got up from the bed and stretched. Time for dinner, I guess. Wait! He paused. I just logged out of RFO in the middle of the hallway. He hung his head and walked stiffly to the corner of his room, resting his head gingerly against the wall as his bottom lip quivered. I'm such an idiot. His mind ran wild with all the possible things that could be happening to his avatar that could have been left crumpled on the floor outside your in-room door. I have to go back and put Butterfly in a room. He put his head off the wall and walked back to the bed and lay down, putting the nerve gear back on and logging in. As he opened his eyes in the game, he realized that he was already in a room and he looked to his right. Your empty avatar was sleeping peacefully beside him and he smiled. She must have pulled me in here when I collapsed from logging out. Satisfied with where he was, he logged out again and went downstairs for dinner. As he ate quietly, he thought about how far he had come in RFO. When he'd heard about its release, he was curious to find out what a full dive system entailed, so he bought it after seeing some reviews online. The one review that caught his eye was from a gamer who claimed that he was painfully shy and felt like he was a nobody, but when he was in diving, in RFO, he felt like a different person. Tamaki wanted to experience this. What would it be like to have confidence and no anxieties? The first time RFO had asked for a character name, he almost triggered the nerve gear to disconnect because of the rapid spike in heart rate, so not all his anxieties had been cured immediately. It would be a work in progress. He had wanted the name Butterfly, as it's usually spelled, but somebody else had already taken it. Utterly heartbroken, he had walked to the corner of the character selection box and placed his head on the virtual wall for a good 10 minutes until the system asked if he was going to continue. After mentally going over different ways to spell butterfly, he settled on the I3 on the end, considering that he was one of the big three in UA's third class year. He entered the name and held his breath, releasing it as a sharp exhale when the name Butterfly with the IE was accepted. From there he farmed rats until he was confident with his one small dagger, and then went straight for the bosses in hidden places that he had read in reviews. Naturally, he had to grind a lot, and got killed by monsters multiple times, but he didn't give up, finally hitting the jackpot with getting his cloak and then unlocking the chain whip sword from another underground level of 38. Fortunately for him, at this point he was already level 51 and thus could unlock the sword instantly. Otherwise he would have had to keep it in his storage until he was a high enough level to unlock it. He loved the chain whip sword because it was easy to use, since his own quirk required him to be able to control a relatively uncontrollable object, octopus limbs, and he found them similar. And that is the end of chapter 16. Stay tuned for chapter 17.